Welcome to the show, What is a Little Girl Supposed to Do? The show is about survival, perseverance, and redemption. Now, what is the definition of forgiveness?
I think you have really said it the best way that it could be said. Because forgiveness, when we do not forgive, it will destroy us. Forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you to be free of what has taken place with you. Because God understood that there must be a reconciling. Because He told us in Matthew 5 and 23 and 24 that before we can bring our gift to the altar, we must first reconcile. And He goes on to say, it doesn't even matter if you felt you didn't do anything wrong. Then we must first reconcile. Because what that does, there's a release that puts you in a position to be blessed. See, many think that it's for the other person and they're not worthy of forgiveness. But forgiveness is for you so that you can be free of what they've done to you and that you can live beyond the enemy trying to destroy you and live in a place of peace. One of the things that I did when I was had to really reach for forgiveness, and I thank God for that. Within me, I am a type of person that I have to have completeness. I cannot hold things because I realize that I have to be free in the midst of what is going on with me. And how I've done that, I've been able to have true forgiveness for the people who have hurt me. And I find that when you reach out to them and you release them and let them go, I believe, as I've told you, as a cause and effect. So I realize that people don't really understand what they do. Just like Jesus said, they know not what they do. And so many times we have to be the bigger person. I believe that sometimes, and a lot of times, daughters are more mature than their mothers. Daughters are more mature than their fathers. Sometimes people don't work on themselves. They don't reach out within themselves to be better. And they have unforgiveness. How I knew that I had pure unforgiveness in my life, one of the signs was a police officer took my dad's life when I was 12. And he came into a family business. He and his family came into my family business. And I was shocked. I knew him by the Spirit. And that had been a devastating time in my life to be with my sisters that were in college and to come home to my dad's blood splattered all over the wall and to have to go in and get your things and see all of this. And, you know, the things that you want and want to save after this, because my mother was already deceased from kidney failure. Now here it is, my only parent is gone, and my grandparents on both sides were already deceased. And so that was a devastating time. But when the gentleman that took my dad's life, I got a chance to sit down and talk to him. Because the first response, I wanted to retaliate. But as I began, there was something in my heart. I had met the Lord, and I had given my life to the Lord. And there was something in me that had a tender spot. And for his journey. And even though he admitted that they did things wrong, they, went to this address that just saw a shooting, and without a captain and all that. He admitted that, and that in itself meant a lot. Meant a lot. That he was owning his truth. Then I was able to forgive him. And since then, I've been able to forgive many. I went back to my foster parent that was abusive, and was able to forgive them. And if they did nothing else, they gave me a home during that time. And then I was able to go back to my great aunt. I was able to participate in things that she needed. I would go and visit her by myself. I lived in Kansas and she lived in Oklahoma, and I would travel as a young adult to see her and to make sure she had food and to take her out to eat, or anything that she needed me to do to help her clean and organize and just be there for her. Even in the midst of her telling me that I was ugly and all of the things and all of the negativity along with what was done. I realized that her dad was born into slavery, and he lived on with the master after the family was traded off. Because not only my great-grandfather was a slave, my great-great-great-grandfather, and it's very close in my family because it was her dad. So I know that she had a lot of those controlling spirits and all of those being whipped and beat and all of that had been passed on. So I know that was not her real person, so I was able to forgive her. So tell me more about your journey and unforgiveness.
Well, it took a while to come to that road. Because there has been so much hurt and pain, not just with what went on with these men that was in my life, but I had a sister. She rest in peace. Her name was Lorraine, and she was my younger sister. But she would do bad things in my name. Okay. She stole my identity. And once, when I found out that she had taken my identity, I was very upset with her. Because, these are things that she did that I didn't do, so it hindered the things that I needed to do, finding jobs. And because one time it was like, I got hired on this job, loved it, and like 6 weeks later, here comes the human resource lady to my desk. And she was like, Belinda, she said, I need to talk to you. You need to come to HR. And it was in a separate building from where I worked. And I'm like, okay. And so as we were walking to HR, she said, well, you know how we asked you on the background check, have you ever been arrested? Have you been convicted? And I'm like, no. I said no, because I hadn't been. And she said, well, the record came back and we didn't think it was you, but it's on record, all these things that you've done. And I got to thinking, I'm like, oh my God. I said, my sister did these things. And the sad part about that, when that happened, she had already been deceased for 2 years. These were things that happened back in the 80s, but they was still on my record. And so I was hurt, and I'm like, okay, so now I'm dealing with my sister's deceased. She did the stuff, it's on my record, and now I'm gonna have to go and fight this. I'm still dealing with the pain of losing her, as they found her deceased in California. Somebody placed her outside a dumpster. They shot her up with some drugs, and she OD'd. And yeah, she was placed outside a dumpster. So what happened was, prior to her going to jail, she got into some trouble back there in San Diego. And she went to jail, and she called me. She was crying. And she apologized. She said, sister, she was in jail for like 2 years, 2 or 3 years altogether. But she was like, sister, she said, I know I did you wrong. I said, yes. I said, it was very hurtful, the things that you did. I mean, because you messed up my name, and it's hard. I mean, I'm trying to get a job, and they're saying I can't get a job because all this stuff is on my record, and I'm not even the one that did this stuff. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. She said, as soon as I get out of jail, she said, I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to take care of it, I promise you. And I said, okay. But the promise never did come because they found her dead. And so forgiveness, I forgave her. I mean, but it took a while. It took a while for me to forgive her, but I did forgive her before she passed away. And I was so thankful that we came together. I mean, she apologized, and when she was going to get out of jail, I had said that she can come and stay with me once she got out. But she was only out of jail for 28 days when they found her deceased. But what happened, the probation officer, they were supposed to release her to come live with me. For some odd reason, they said that she couldn't come until she paid her fine in San Diego. So that never happened. But she asked for forgiveness. I forgave her. And I'm just so thankful that I forgave her, because I would have had to deal with that for the rest of my life. Not forgiving her and not talking to her. And so I was able to feel free. I was able to feel free that we talked about it and we took care of it, because we don't know when is going to be our last day here on this planet. I mean, we don't know when it's going to be our time. And so my thing, forgiveness, is so important for us. And I've gone to so many funerals. And that is one of the things that is hurtful. People get up, family members get up, and they're crying. They're saying, we wasn't even talking to each other. I didn't get to say my goodbyes. I didn't get to say I love them. And I'm like, I mean, that's why when things happen, you can't wait. Yes. You can't wait, because tomorrow is not promised to us. And you do not want that loved one to pass on, and you're back here saying, man, we didn't get to talk. We wasted so much time being angry. Yes. And was it worth it?
No, it's never worth it.
It's not worth it. And so that's why, to me, forgiveness is so important. Forgiveness is so important, because it will help. It will take a burden off of your heart and your mind. When you let things go, you have to atone, ask for forgiveness, and say, I may have wronged you, but please, I apologize. Yes. We're only human. No one is perfect out here. That's right. But the only thing that we can do, we can't change what happened yesterday.
That's true.
I mean, we can't change what happened yesterday, 10 years ago, but there's people that's holding on to anger and stuff that has happened years ago, and they're still holding on to this. That's true. And it's destroying them within inside. And I'm like, I don't want that burden on me. turn it over to God. God will take care of it. He just wants us to live our life in peace and loving each other and just doing the right thing. I mean, all this anger and hatred and being mad, I mean, for what?
You're right.
It just doesn't make sense. And so it damages our health. It causes different diseases. And I mean, it shortens our life here on this planet. And so that's why I just believe forgiveness is the key to longevity and being able to be the best person that you can be. Because God wants us. Everybody have a purpose. Everybody have a purpose in this life. I mean, no one was born not to be able to do something to take care of themselves.
That's true.
And so if people would mainly focus on the things that they need to do to better themselves and be the best person and love each other and just do the right thing. Treat your fellow man the way you want to be treated. And so my thinking is we are not 100% human being until we want for our brother and sister what we want for ourselves.
That's great. That's good. That is very good.
Yes.
And
yes.
I'm glad you said that. There is, what I have learned is that unforgiveness will destroy an individual.
Yes.
But forgiveness will place you in a place of a living like you've never lived before. Because when we forgive and truly forgive from our heart, like the Bible says, then we're able to come into a space in our world. Things begin to happen. I believe that there is a release of life that changes everything about you. You're almost like, a magnet for love and all of the good things because you have released that burden. People, once they release it, they look better.
Yes, you're right.
They are able to smile and enjoy, and there is a power that says, you can't hurt me anymore. Yes. I used to sing a song, Someday I Won't Have to Cry No More. And then I remember, I made it.
Yes.
I made it.
Man.
No matter what you tried to do, you didn't succeed.
Yes.
I made it.
Yes.
And that's the power that I could take, is that you can't beat me anymore.
Yes.
You can't hurt me anymore.
Yes.
You and when you are away from that, see, there's a genuineness that comes that some people, because they're holding on to it, they don't even realize that when you hold unforgiveness, there is a spirit. People don't want to be around you.
Yes.
Because unforgiveness will bring about 7 additional spirits. You open the door for resentment, retaliation, anger, hatred, murder. We have to, because when everything is swept clean, you have to replace it with something. And when you don't, you allow the enemy to come in and bring all these spirits. And what will happen is that the main one will be hard to forgive ourselves. That's the thing we have to do first of all, is forgive yourself.
Yes, that's true.
No matter what you've done.
You're right.
No matter who you've done it to.
Yes.
No matter who you've done it with.
Yes.
No matter how you enjoyed or didn't enjoy or whatever. You have to learn to forgive yourself.
Yes.
And know that God forgives you.
Yes.
And it's wiped clean.
Yes.
And and don't remember the fact
Yes.
that it took you places
Yes.
that you shouldn't have been.
Yes.
Because any type of harm will take any of us.
Yes.
None of us are above. I can't say that if I had your journey, I would have made it.
You're right. Yeah.
Because I haven't lived in your shoes.
Right.
I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah.
You know, many will say, well, I would have done this, I would have done that, and
Yes.
I would have done that. But we don't know
You're
until
right.
we've been there
That's true. Yes.
what we would have done.
Yes. That's
Because
true.
I know many people that don't make it out,
Yes.
that they're still doing drugs. And for those that are out there,
Yes.
and you're still doing drugs or you're trying all sorts of fantasy sexual acts, forgive yourself. But know that when you open the door for pornography and all that stuff, there will be a yearning for more. There will be a place that it's going to be hard to be satisfied until you really learn the key of forgiving yourself and reaching within yourself and saying, this is self-destructive behavior.
Yes.
And I'm not only going to forgive others, I'm going to forgive myself.
Yes.
I'm going to say, they didn't know how to treat me.
Yes.
See, the thing is they didn't understand that you were the apple of God's eye.
Yes.
He didn't understand that God had his hand on you to do great and mighty things.
Yes.
He didn't understand that he was supposed to love you like Christ loved the church and be willing to give his life for you. He didn't understand that you were the power that God said that it wasn't good for him to be alone. That he gave him the wisdom side, the emotional side, the side that makes him complete. He didn't see you as his completeness because had he seen you the way your creator sees you, he would have never violated anything that was not of God. But when people don't know how to treat you, that's why the Bible tells us not to be unequally yoked. Because what agreement does light have with darkness? Darkness wanted to destroy you, but light wanted to shine. And I'm going to tell you today, light won. Light won the battle. And it will always win the battle. All you got to do is reach a little.
Yes.
And then there's going to be sunshine.
Yes.
All you have to do is reach a little.
You're right.
And there will be sunshine.
Yes.
In your pathway.
You're right, man.
And you'll be able to live and smile again.
Man, you're right.
At that time, you may not have even seen yourself.
Yes.
There are probably people there that are taking substances and doing all sorts of things instead of forgiving what they need to forgive.
You're right.
Sometimes people don't even understand themselves and why they've done what they've done to you.
Yes. Yeah.
But whatever, it has given you a strength beyond anything.
Yes.
You're ready to tackle a world.
You're right.
And no one can take that from you. Once you really work out all of that, there's a strength that no one can take from you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because I said, this is my belief. We have to fight for our life.
Yes.
Because if we don't, who will?
That's right.
God said, this is between you and I.
That's good.
And I got your back.
Yes,
you just need to pray, believe in me, and read my word, and just do the right thing.
Yes.
Love your neighbor as you would want to be loved yourself. Give love, and because we only have one earth. one planet for us to live on here. So why can't we live in peace? And Rodney King said it very well. I drew a picture of what he said. And in this picture is the picture of the earth. And I put all different sects on the globe there. I put black and white, Christian, Protestant, Muslim, Jewish. I just Democrat, Republican. I put everyone on this globe. And the question is, like Rodney King said, why can't we all just get along? Why can't we all just get along? I mean, it's not that hard.
It really isn't.
I mean, it really is. It's not that hard to do the right thing. Because I'm a poet, and I know it. But I wrote this poem. It's called Do Right or Get Left. Simple.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, do right or get left. I mean, it's that simple. And people make life difficult themselves. And unforgiveness is one of the problems. People are walking around with hurt. We can't change. And that's how Satan gets a hold of people, is he reminds them of their past.
Yes.
You can't do nothing about your past. You can't even change what happened a second ago.
That's right.
Let alone years ago. But people are stuck on things that has happened and they can't change it. And so once they learn that what happened in the past, ask for forgiveness and don't do it again, and just make today and plan for tomorrow and do your best. I mean, life will be so much better and so much easier for us. Just show love, And so, forgiveness. Forgiveness is the key.
It is a power source.
Man.
It is one of the power sources that when we look at the Word of God and it says strongholds, and it talks about, Satan is able to get in our plan when we understand. Many understand that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and spiritual wickedness in high places. But many of us forget that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty to the pulling down of strongholds. So when you use the weapon of forgiveness, it pulls down some strongholds in your life, and you're free for life to come and bless you. Many will never receive all that has been designed for them. The Bible has you in a plan. A plan. God said, I have a plan to bless you. To give you an expected end. When you search for me, I will be found. When you search for me with all your heart. When you're not holding on to whatever so easily besets you, he can release some things. He can release things that you would never understand. I tell you, if I had to do it all over again, I would choose forgiveness because I begin to forgive. He was able to move in places in my world and give me a happiness that I never dreamed that I would have as an orphan girl. Just little old me with no help other than the Creator. That's why I think that until people have tried the higher being, I don't know what you believe in, but if you're not believing in a God that can change your life and your world, I tell you to try him. Try forgiveness, because when he comes in, his love comes in replace of unforgiveness, and you begin to move in some things, and he begins to release some things. He said, that's my daughter over there? What is it that she needs? I'm going to restore. But now that she's forgiven, I can restore everything the enemy has taken from you. Every scar, from every beating, from every harsh word, from every harsh thing. He said, I can restore the years that the enemy has taken from you, and I can release it in your life. And there will be no hindrance because you are an example of me. You forgave others, so I can forgive you, so you can be right standing with me, so I can bless you. There will be no blocking your blessings. God can move. And that's the beauty of what you guys are doing. Your daughter and you are ushering in an era. And I believe that it's going to be a powerful season and era for you. I believe that this is your moment. This is your moment. For all of your life, you have been prepared for this journey. And I believe that not only are you going to do it, you're going to do it well. Lives are going to be changed. Hearts are going to be changed. And there will be a release that God has for you that will, nothing else in your life will compare to it. And that's the beauty of being able to forgive. That is the beauty.
That's beautiful.
It's so beautiful. It really is.
And that's my belief. We've tried everything else in this life, thinking that it's going to make us feel better. So my question is, try God.
You know, you ask them, are you complete today? Are you happy where you're at? Have you reached a place? I tell you, there is no party like a party with your Creator. I know you can't imagine it, but I tell you, until you've tried Him, I mean, I love to dance, but until you've danced in the Lord, I'm not talking about all that you see. You can just dance in your spirit, just sitting and dancing, because there's such a beauty in your life that no matter what comes your way, you know that the work that He's beginning you, that He's going to complete it to the day of His return. And then you know that you are working for a greater good. You are working for that greater good, and that brings a release that nothing else can compare to.
You're right.
You know, as you, like you said, fight, you used the word, fight the good fight of faith. And really know and connect with life and existence.
You're right.
There is nothing that can compare to it.
You're right.
And that is so awesome.
Beautiful.
So awesome.
And I want to thank Evangelist Marsha, Joslin. She is so amazing, and I'm asking that she will come back and teach us her knowledge to become an overcomer. Thank you very much for watching our podcast or listening to our podcast, and we will see you next week. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for tuning in to our podcast, What is a Little Girl Supposed to Do? Until next time.